Is what the film Hotel Rwanda depicts true?
ubundi hari icyo abanyarwanda batigeze bamenya.
There is something that Rwandans never knew, or if they did, they didn't dwell on it long. Hotel Rwanda is primarily a film, and it is a fiction film. Hotel Rwanda, A Twisted History. Dear followers of MAKALI, we greet you once again and wish you the peace of God. At this moment, we are going to present to you the program we promised, titled Understand. Understand is a program where we will take time to share in-depth information aimed at providing the truth to everyone, whether it is to reinforce it or to refute falsehoods. In this program, we will present truths that confirm or contradict what is being said, to help people not to follow blindly those who run without knowing where they are going. At this moment, we are going to revisit Mr. Rusesabagina and the claim that he saved over 1,000 people at the Hotel des Mille Collines. What he says happened is also depicted in the documentary film Hotel Rwanda, which was first released in 2004. It is a film produced by George Terry. This film is a work of fiction, meaning it does not depict all the actual events that occurred. Rusesabagina later turned these fictional events into supposed truths, earning him awards as a remarkable person who saved people, even though that was not the case. Before delving into that, let's first listen to his own testimony where he admits that the film is fiction and that not everything in it is true. Is what the film Hotel Rwanda depicts true?
ubundi hari icyo abanyarwanda batigeze bamenya.
There is something that Rwandans never knew, or if they did, they didn't dwell on it long. Hotel Rwanda is primarily a film, and it is a fiction film. As you have heard, Rusesabagina himself admits that the film is fictional and that they added some elements to make it more entertaining. The person who thought of making Hotel Rwanda had heard the stories of people who survived at the Hotel Mille Collines and took the time to go to Rwanda, where they met various people, including officials. That is where they got the information about Rusesabagina, who had left Rwanda and moved to Belgium, where he worked as a taxi driver. They went to see him there and expressed their desire to make the film, agreeing to meet in South Africa where they planned to shoot the film, with his assistance in refining the scenario he had started writing while still in Kigali. Time passed. The film was made and released in Rwanda, shown in many places. Rusesabagina began to be invited to schools and other venues to give talks about the content of the film Hotel Rwanda, and many were surprised that what was a fictional film was now being claimed as truth by him, allowing him to gain fame and even receive medals. This is when he started claiming that the Rwandan government was jealous of his medals. Rusesabagina himself admitted that when he fled his home, he first went to Hotel Diplomat, where he was the manager, and then moved to Hotel des Mille Collines, where he found other people seeking refuge. When he arrived at the hotel fleeing, and when foreigners were being evacuated, the person who was managing the hotel gave him the responsibility because he was experienced in hotel management. Before Rusesabagina sought refuge there, Mille Collines was already secure under the protection of MINUAR. In reality, Hotel des Mille Collines was like a refugee camp managed by the UN. Regarding how people arrived at the hotel after Rusesabagina got there, the truth can be found in the trial of George Rutaganda, the vice president of the Interahamwe who died in prison while serving his sentence for the massacres he committed. Another truth is being discussed in Belgium in the trial of Emmanuel Nkunzuvimya, alias Bomboko, who explains how people paid to be brought to Hotel des Mille Collines. Rudaganda's testimony in his trial is corroborated by Nkunzuwimya in the ongoing genocide trial in Brussels, explaining how Rusesabagina had connections with them and had a special relationship with Rudaganda due to business dealings in alcohol and other items that Rudaganda engaged in. These two would continue to go to Mila Collines, where Rusesabagina would link them with people who had taken refuge in the hotel and who had money and wanted them to bring their relatives in exchange for payment. An example is Ambassador Gasamagera, who testified that he paid George Rutaganda 800,000 Rwandan francs to bring his children to safety. The truth that many fear to speak is that, apart from Rusesabagina's wife and some of his children, he personally had no issues with the Interahamwe or soldiers. Figures like Robert Kajuga, Rutaganda, and their subordinates frequently visited him at Hotel de Mille Collines, as did General Bizimungu, the commander of the Rwandan army, who would visit and share meals with him. General Bizimungu Augustine is also said to have helped some people get to the hotel, whereas Rusesabagina never showed any evidence of helping anyone other than bringing them to the hotel as a form of asylum. The hotel was protected by Minuar soldiers, and the Interahamwe and some soldiers were the ones who took money to bring people to Mille Collines. Can you tell me what role Rusesabagina played in saving these people? None. Regarding his calls for help, explaining the situation in Mille Collines, and seeking assistance, he did this with the help of Sabina's management, which halted the charging of people. We spoke with one of the foreigners involved in raising awareness about the refugees in Mille Collines, who was surprised by how Rusesabagina explained certain things, saying that whenever he called, he was seeking help to get his family out of the country. The issue is that in the film Hotel Rwanda, these foreigners are not mentioned, and Rusesabagina is depicted as the sole savior of these people. Minuar was protecting Mille Collines before he arrived, but the way he speaks about it, you would think that nobody cared until he got there. That was not the case. We spoke to people who survived at Hotel de Mille Collines, who told us they were saved because their situation was made known, thanks to journalist Kamalindi Thomas, who provided information to Rwandan Madeleine Mukamabano, working at Radio France Internationale, RRFI. These two made the world aware of the situation at Mille Collines, putting pressure on the Rwandan government. They were not the only ones involved, as many others contributed from outside. This article does not aim to say that Rusesabagina did nothing. It aims to reveal the truth of what he did, which was commendable and in line with his duties as a hotel manager, but also to criticize his distortion of history and denial of those who worked to bring people to safety. Although George Rutaganda and his associates were Interahamwe and were convicted for their crimes, it does not negate the fact that they brought people to Mille Collines who are still alive. In the trial of Rutaganda and that of Emmanuel Nsanzuwimye, alias Bomboko, ongoing in Brussels, Rusesabagina gave testimony identifying them as Interahamwe but refused to appear for questioning. This is because he does not want anyone else to be recognized for their role in saving people at Mille Collines, diminishing his narrative of being the sole savior. We approached some people close to this matter, who told us that because he refuses to attend court to answer questions about his claims, there are suspicions about whether he had any personal gain from these actions. Some even suggest he might have received commissions, but we will never know the truth because he refuses to appear in court. Returning to Georges Rutaganda in his testimony, he states that he delivered food and drinks to Hotel de Mille Collines, with Rusesabagina promising to pay him, although he had received money from the manager of Mille Collines. It should also be noted that when he fled, he took all the money from Hotel Diplomat. One wonders if he ever returned that money after the war, since it appears he lied about using it to support people and never paid those who supplied food. The truth of this is in RWANDA's testimony at the Arusha court. In this program, we want you to understand that Hotel Rwanda is a fictional film, and Rusesabagina, in search of fame, lied about it being the truth, contrary to what he said when the film was released. For people to survive and leave Mila Kalines, it was because of negotiations between MINUR, Rwandan Army Forces, and the Rwandan Patriotic Front, RPF. During this period, those who chose to go to the RPF side did so, and those who chose to go to the Rwandan government side also did so. Meanwhile, those foreigners who were evacuated from the country were also helped. In Rusesabagina's testimony, he does not mention this, and many people were saved by being taken to areas where they would not be killed. Dear MAKALI TV followers, we hope that, after the explanations we have provided, you have understood the truth. Soon, we will also bring you daily news from all corners of the world through the online newspaper MAKALI News.